Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Friends of Mortgage Heroes. Today, we are joined by a 30-year U.S. Navy veteran who rose to rank of 06. He served under Special Warfare Command, completed 8 years at sea, and earned top honors, including 3 Legion of Merit medals and 2 Meritorious Service medals. From Youngstown, Ohio, San Diego, his career reflects a lifetime leadership, service, and dedication to his country. Ladies and gentlemen, today we welcome Captain Eugene Raymond Bailey. I tell you, I'm excited, Anthony. Come on now.
I am as well.
Right? I mean, Anthony's about to retire.
I am. After 20 and a half years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, and here we have, oh my God, man. Again, I know we were talking prior to this, and I'm just excited, Eugene, to have you here. So I can't tell you how privileged and honor I feel that we have you here, and you're here in San Diego. Is this going to be home for you?
Yeah, this is home. We're done. And so I appreciate you guys taking the time this afternoon and inviting me over and having this opportunity. But yeah, we're home. My wife looked at me in 2012 when we came here for our first San Diego tour. I had been in the Navy at that point almost, 18 years or so. We were down by the Dell on New Year's Day.
Oh, yeah.
It was 74. Mm-hmm. That woman turned and looked at me and said, "I'm home."
Right.
And I went, "Oh, here we go." Mm-hmm. And so we went around the world in the next 10 years and came back to San Diego to retire. Awesome. And this is it.
That's awesome. Oh my God. I'm so glad that we get to have him here, right?
Absolutely.
Like, come on. Because I already know after we get done today, Anthony, I don't think we have enough time in 45 minutes, an hour to just really squeeze all this information from Mr. Captain here. We're going to need more, but I'm sure we have you. The good thing is you're around the corner from us.
I'm literally right around the corner. So if you want me, just call me up and I'm coming on back.
I know we spoke and what got you in the military, but I really would love for you to share with our audience, like, what is it that really got you to, hey, I'm going to join the military? Because I know you had 4 options of going to different schools. So please tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so for me, growing up, I was a little poor kid, and I had an opportunity when I was in high school to do a JROTC program, and it was super influential on me because it gave me an opportunity to lead, to be able to learn new skills, and move myself in a way that other things hadn't moved me before. And so I went, hey, this military thing might be a path for me to not be poor anymore and get out of the ghetto, so to speak. And so as I went through high school, I was always pretty focused. I was always pretty smart. And so my freshman year in high school, I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to the Navy. And I went through the 4 years, and even in high school, I was super successful, and I wound up being the commandant of the high school that I was at in Detroit. And then I got accepted to the Naval Academy.
Wow.
And so when I got accepted to the Naval Academy, I got accepted to 4 schools overall. I don't know if you want me to
Please. What schools were those?
So I was fortunate because I had applied for a Navy ROTC scholarship, and I had applied to Harvard, Princeton, Purdue, and the Naval Academy. And I knew, like I was telling you upstairs, I knew that my little happy behind would go out and party if I went to Harvard, Princeton, or Purdue. Mm-hmm. And I would have lost my scholarships and all of that stuff. And so I knew the structure that went along with the Naval Academy. The Naval Academy's always been a great school. And so the education is top tier. It's hard work. It led to my commission. And so I was like, okay, here we go. And July 3rd of 1989, I walked through those doors, and the day before Independence Day, lost my independence for the next 30 years.
Oh, my.
So it was, but it was a good time, and it started a lifetime of service. And that's really what drove me, right? Is that there was always this feeling that we needed to give back to the communities we come from, that we need to be able to do things that are positive and help people. And it gave me opportunities to lead people in multitudes of scenarios and in lots of different ways. And it included people from everywhere.
Gotcha.
Right? It didn't matter where you started out. It mattered where you ended up.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Options.
Right.
Dude, I could have been at
Love
Harvard.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But I chose not to.
You know the alumni that you get right there just for attending Harvard?
So I will tell you, the Alumni Association for the United States Naval Academy is the biggest fraternity in the world.
I have to agree with that.
So that's pretty wild.
That's awesome.
Right?
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so I have to ask, so during your time at the Naval Academy, how do you commanded, I mean, you led sailors, chiefs like myself, junior officers. How do you feel the Naval Academy prepared you for your career overall?
So I think from an education perspective, the education piece of it was fantastic. I learned things in a multitude of areas that I probably would never have been exposed to in any other college. But I will tell you, it teaches you about yourself too, and what your capabilities are and what you think your capabilities are. And then I learned a lot about leadership and followership, because believe it or not, when you go and you get commissioned, right? And you know this, that, you get junior officers and you got to shape and mold them still. The academy gives you a little bit of advantage in the beginning and the end of your career. The beginning of your career, because you have had exposure to some of these things, is where it really helps. At the end of your career, because of your network and the alumni and things like that, is the other place it helps. Mm-hmm. But the thing it taught me right out of the box was learn how to follow before you try to lead.
Right.
And when I was, after my first year at the academy, they have us do these tours in the summer, right? Mm-hmm. And I go up to Washington State, and I'm on a minesweeper. And the old minesweepers, as you know, were all wooden boats,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And we had to go, even as officer candidates, we were still in the old dungarees, mm-hmm. and so you couldn't tell we were officer candidates. And the only thing they made us do different was we had to wear our gold belt buckle, right? That was the only thing that would distinguish you from the rest of the crew. And we're leaving Seattle, and we're on our way up to Vancouver for a port visit. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Canada. I'm 21 now. Mm-hmm. Life's good. Yep. And we have a fire breakout on the boat.
Wow.
I mean, literally, we're sitting in the middle of Puget Sound. Fire breaks out, and on a wooden boat, fire can spread pretty quick.
Very quick.
Luckily, I'd had some fire training, and that was where I got my first sir.
Oh.
And so we were handling the casualty. A couple people froze. I just jumped in there, and we just kind of started doing it. And I was kind of, hey, move over here, do this, do that. Mm-hmm. And the senior chief, who was the scene leader, when it was all said and done, he was like, sir, you need to go back up to the bridge now, but you did great.
Nice.
Wow.
And
nice.
That was and I remember it to this very, very day, right? That was my very first sir.
Well deserved.
And it taught me right then and there that with that title comes some responsibility. And so you have to make sure that you're worthy of that responsibility all the time.
Yes.
It's a 24/7 gig. It's not like, hey, I think I'm going to take off the responsibility thing today. We're going to roll with it. Right. No, it's a 24/7 gig, and then it just becomes you.
Right.
Right? And
right.
So over the course of the rest of my life, everything just kind of revolved and grew from that experience at the Naval Academy. Wow. And so I look back on it, and everybody says the Naval Academy is a great place to be from. I can tell you I said the same thing when I was there. And when you go back over the course of your career and you have certain visits at the Academy, the reflections of what you learn and how you developed and the lessons that it taught you are immeasurable, right? If you use them the right way.
Right. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful, man.
I love it.
Well, I mean, that's life changing right there. It impacted you, and forever you'll remember that day.
Oh yeah.
Which is just absolutely those kind of things just they start helping you catapult to that next level. It just set the standard higher. Because I mean, since then, was that when it came to you like, I'm gonna lead? Because I know the Naval Academy gets you to a certain place. But what made you now, I'm going to be a leader. Like now I'm going to get to a captain position. I know it's something that probably you thought for. I mean, you had options at school. So I figure you thought about this since you were like 5-6 years old, right?
Nah, I thought about it since I was 14. But I will tell you, I didn't think about being a captain and all that. When I graduated, I was like, I'm going to 5 and dive, right? I'm going to do my 5 years. That was my commitment. And then I'm going to go do something else, right?
That was me.
And
wow.
I never imagined that I would spend almost 30 years in uniform, that I would be where I'm at today. I thought that my life would take a totally different trajectory. And, you know, it was part of it was as a young man, I became a father early in my life. And so that was a life-altering moment, right? Because that little thing needs to be fed and diapered and all kinds of stuff. And then I started learning that, hey, I kind of have a knack for some of this. But it was the people around me that kind of educated and helped me evolve. And I'll tell you a story that kind of changed my whole leadership perspective and where I went, okay, game on, I'm in.
Let's go.
And so I was on my second division officer tour. I was a young Lieutenant JG, and I was getting ready to be a lieutenant. So I was in the 02, 03 range. And we got to go I reported to USS Wasp, and they were in the shipyard. And I went to school, and, you know, they send you to a bunch of, like, schools to learn amphibious warfare and stuff like that when you first get to amphib ships. And I'm at school, and I get this call that, hey, your boss wants to see you after school. It's like being called to the principal's office, right? You're like, oh, crap, what'd I do? Well, I go back, and he goes, hey, we're in the shipyard. The auxiliaries officer is leaving. I know you're the CIC. You're the Combat Information Center officer.
Okay.
And we want you to go and relieve the auxiliaries officer for 4 months, bring the ship through a major inspection, and then you'll come back up here. All right, I'm a team player. Cool.
Yeah.
So I go down, and we take this ship from no water under the keel, all broken apart, all systems down. We put her back together piece by piece. And the end of that was in September. And the end of January comes. We go through the inspection. It's hailed as one of the greatest inspections in history of the Atlantic Fleet. And I'm like, okay, we're done.
Right.
I get this call. Hey, the executive officer wants to see you. Now, when the XO calls you, it is never a good thing, right? It's never a good thing. So you go, okay. So I asked my boss. I'm like, hey, chief engineer, you know what the XO wants to see me about? No, I don't know.
Right.
Oh, man. That really ain't good. So I go up there, and I remember the guy, Captain Bill Daniels, he says, hey, Gene, have a seat. And I'm like, oh.
Uh-oh.
The XO just told me to sit down because he doesn't want me to fall down when he tells me whatever he's going to say.
How old were you at this time?
I was 25.
Oh, okay.
And I'll set the scene. When you go to the XO's office, usually, stand at attention, you knock, you enter. He yells at you real quick, and you walk out. You don't sit down.
That's the XO's
No
job.
one sits down.
Right? So I sit down, and he goes, the captain and I have already talked. And now you just, in the back of your head, you're like, I'm screwed. I'm done, right? He's going to send me home now. And in my head, I'm thinking all the stuff that me and the guy, like I had a division of 77 people, right?
Wow.
All engineers. And we had done some amazing things, but we had done some things that we were like,
That's engineers.
I hope this holds. And in the process, he hands me this manila folder. And inside, so when sailors want to request something, right, they have these little forms they fill out, and we call them special request chits, right? So in this manila folder are 77 special request chits and a letter signed by my 4 chiefs.
Oh.
And they're like, we want to keep him as OXO. These are the reasons you should keep him as OXO.
Oh, wow.
That folder is 20 plus years old, and it still sits as one of my most prized possessions today. I still have it today.
Oh, you get to take that home.
Oh yeah, he was handing it to me. So he's like, okay, so he goes, so what do you think? And I look at it, I read the letter, and I start spinning through it, and I'm seeing everything, and I looked up and I go, I guess I'm the OXO.
Wow. To go from
Oh, it got better.
Oh, wow.
So because the operations officer lost me as a principal watchstander, and the chief engineer got me as a principal assistant, right? They split the difference. So I got to go stand watch in combat and help train TAOs and still be a principal assistant for Chang. And it was not uncommon for me to be getting ready to like launch missiles or something and get a call, hey, what's wrong with this fire pump? Hey, Chang, can I call you back in like 2 minutes?
No way.
And so, so it was one of the most dynamic tours that I've ever had in my career, other than my command tours.
That's crazy.
I've never even heard of that. Yeah.
And that was one of those opportunities where that's where leadership came in, right? And I made it a game.
Wow.
Right? Leadership became a game. It became a game between all of my guys and me of who could get to the casualty first if something happened. And I'm not a screamer. I'm not that kind of guy. But it was, we made it a game, and it was the most dynamic group of 77 people that all had a singular focus and could move things like nobody's business.
Yeah.
I love that.
And so it was incredible. And that's where it settled in.
That's pretty crazy.
Game on. I'm here for the long.
That's crazy. So like people like me, like I'm a civilian, right? I remember we're in 8th Street here. I went to all the branches. They said, no, go pay your motorcycle tickets. We're not want you. And then like you, I started at 20 having kids, and everything changed. But for somebody like you, Anthony, that you understand this, what does that mean?
Man, listen, for someone to go from combat, right, to a SWOs, they go to, usually they take one track, right? So they either go the combat route, or correct me if I'm wrong, sir, or they go the I'm a logistics guy, but
and I'm Gene now.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
You're sir to us today.
I got my title still, but
I love it, sir, Captain.
Right. Or they go the engineering route, and to learn the ship systems and to lead engineers. And, that is a specialty in itself. But to manage both, I couldn't imagine doing that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Dual track.
Dude, it's...
Sorry.
Yeah,
I got to give you a 5.
Well, you got to have fun with it too, right?
Yeah.
And so then it just became a big game for me. Right. And, I left that ship. I went to teach steam engineering, and it was when computers were brand new and networks were brand new. And
the Macintosh.
Well, I did a couple of those. And so I helped install the first network and computer systems at Surface Warfare Officer School, and it's kind of started a dual track for me.
That's pretty damn cool, man. So the crazy thing is you started off saying, I was a poor kid.
I was.
And that's just inspiring, right? Because a lot of us didn't grow up with just having all the opportunities. But you had 4 great schools to choose from, and you took the naval route. How much debt did you incur because of all that good stuff?
So this is the funny part, right? I'm a Naval Academy graduate. The Navy has paid for 2 master's degrees, a number of my industry certifications, and I paid nothing.
Gotta love it.
I gave my time back to the Navy, and I used those
you
skills
sure did.
properly. But I encourage everybody, right? Every sailor that I've ever come in contact with can tell you, I am always a strong proponent for education, right? And I look at it from two angles. One, you're making yourself better, and if you're making yourself better, then you're going to make the Navy better.
I love that.
So that's good. But there's the second angle is this, right? And this is what people don't really think about. The Navy will take your youth, and that's a valuable tool that you don't know how valuable until you don't have it anymore. And in the process of taking your youth, you need to set yourself up well. And so I have always taken the opportunities that were available to me to gain greater education, better skill sets, so that when I knew at some point, because we all have to do it, right? We all have to take the uniform off. I knew that when I took the uniform off, I needed to have enough tools in my toolkit to be successful, no matter what I did.
I like that.
So that's what I did.
Yeah, knowledge is power when applied, right?
Oh, for sure.
I love that.
When applied and used well.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah, so I want to go into your, not only did he get one, Legion Merit Medal, you got 3. Did the game start right there at 25 when you got to that point? Like, was there a medal at that point in time when you're 25 years old? Now you have all these people, all this leadership role there. How many people, you went from managing 77, what did it turn to once you went into that next position there?
So my very first tour, I had 7 people that worked with me.
Okay.
Right? And you'll hear some officers go, well, they work for me. No, they work with you.
Right.
Right? And I learned early on from those 7 folks the value of people, right? Not what's your rank, not how long you've been in the Navy. It's how you apply yourself, what skills do you have, and what can we learn from each other. And I had a great chief who taught me the value of what chiefs do for the Navy as those middle managers. And he started off with, hey, sir, if you can do the paperwork, I can keep the equipment running. Cool.
What?
Game on. And I learned so many things from him. And then this is a funny story. I'll make it quick. There was one day where I was like, I'm the division officer. I can let the division officer thing go and tell everybody they can go home early.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God. And I didn't tell him.
Oh, no.
I remember this man came down to our open bay office. He walked right in my cubicle.
Oof.
He looked at me and he goes, I don't know what you were thinking, but don't you ever in your life think that you can send somebody home without checking with me first. I got things for them to do.
Right. The Chiefs run that show.
I was like, all right, Chief, got it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, back then we used to split our division officer tours. And so, I went from 7 people down as, in a frigate up to 9 people in combat for my second portion of the tour. And I had a senior chief up there. And the very first day I walk in, he's like, sir, come here. Let's go back to admin. We go back to admin. And Ed Lowry was 5'3" on a good day, right? Small little guy. We go back there. He closes the door, and he goes, look, this is combat. If you screw up here, we all look bad.
Wow.
So don't you ever screw up.
That's it.
And I was like, cool. Right? And he was a little more colorful in his language, but I'll leave that off the podcast.
Who you got, Chief?
He was a senior chief. So he was like, yeah. So that was like 7-9 people where I started. Then I went to 77. But then I started teaching, and I had all these JOs now. Right? I'm a lieutenant, and I have all these junior officers who are just coming to school for the first time, trying to learn how to be an officer, what their jobs are going to be. And I'm like, oh, cool. And so I enjoyed that tour. And then I went to be an ops officer for my department head rides. And I went to a destroyer for my first department head ride, and then I went to a staff. And so on the destroyer, right, now I got about 120, 130 people.
Wow.
And I have everything from the nose of the ship to the end of the ship, right? I got stuff all over the place. And you start learning different skill sets, right? You learn how to read people better. You learn how to be empathetic. And you can be empathetic without being sympathetic.
100%.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so you start learning people skills the larger your groups get. And then by the time that I was post my executive officer tour, right? So I was one of those guys. I started realizing that, I needed to do something a little different because my family needed something a little different. I needed something a little different. The Navy needed something different from me. And so I changed communities, and I went from being a surface officer to an information professional, which is a guy who builds comm systems and networks all over the world. And I spent the last half of my career doing that. And I'll tell you what, I learned that the Navy has a job for everybody.
Yes.
I learned that an opportunity can come from everywhere, right? And I'll tell you why I think like this as we get to kind of my life philosophy.
Yeah.
Right? But an opportunity can come from anywhere. And so what I thought initially was going to be a downfall or something that hurt me in my career, at the 15-year mark of my career, I had to reinvent myself.
Wow.
And that opportunity provided me other things that I enjoyed doing. I was really good at. I had a lot of fun at. And I moved that way in my life, right? And it all came from when I was teaching steam engineering, right? We have these things called collateral duties in the Navy, right? And so you have a primary job, but we're going to give you this other thing to do too because we ain't got enough people to do everything, right? So I get to the schoolhouse and they go, you need a collateral duty. And I'm like, okay, what you got? And they're like, you're going to be the ADP officer. And I'm like, what the hell's an ADP officer? You're going to be the computer dude. I didn't know jack about computers, right? But it gets back to the value of a chief, right? Chief was there. He's like, hey, sir, come here. Let me show you how to do all this stuff. Man, we took apart computers. We took apart switches. We took apart networks and all that stuff. And I was like, And at that time, there were 15 instructors in this office using 6 computers. And they were not connected. So you had to update your presentations and all of that stuff, save them to your disk, and right, this networks and storage and all that. Yeah, none of that shit existed. So I was like, hey, I kind of like this stuff. This might be a good post-Navy career, right? And I'm thinking about getting out at that point. So I'm like, hey, this is cool. Hey, this stuff comes pretty easy. You know all those little pop-up boxes that you get when an error happens on your computer that pisses everybody off?
Yeah.
Dude, those all made intrinsic sense to me. I was like,
Give me more.
I know what that means.
Give me more.
Yes, I'll take that. Just do that. Let's go.
Right.
And so I was like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. And I continued to develop those skills while I was doing all of my surface stuff. And when the time came, it was a very easy decision for me to shift communities and go do something that I liked. Because my boys, when they were my twins, were, premature. They were 27-week babies. And so they literally fit in the palms of my hand. And one was 1 pound or 2 pounds, and the other was 2 pounds, 4 ounces.
Wow.
So, I came to a realization that, hey, well, I'm good at this stuff called the Navy. My family's going to be here long after.
Wow.
And so that was part of my decision calculus for shifting communities. And, I'll tell you, that opportunity paid dividends in so many different ways, and I can't look back. And I'm appreciative to everything that I got out of the Navy. So that's why I tell people, right? Use your education well. Do what you're supposed to do. Keep working hard. And you never know when an opportunity is going to pop out of the box for you.
That's right. You said one key word right there is appreciate, right? be grateful. Gratitude comes a long way.
Oh, it so does.
You know, and so when you learn to appreciate things, something in the mind just shifts, you know, and you start doing things differently than when you don't have that. You know, you become entitled because, hey, I already did my work. I get that paycheck. And you just start talking like entitlement, you know, like just because you did something. But when you bring that word in, it changes so many things.
Well, a lot of the things that you do in life are all about how you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Not everything is, easy. Mm-hmm. Some things provide you more challenge than others. I have a spouse like that. She challenges me every day. Uh-oh. But
they all do.
But it's
You're not alone.
All great, right?
Absolutely.
It's all to help you think out of the box and to learn that for whatever time we're given on this earth, right? If you are doing it right, when you get to the end, right? And I tell my boys this all the time. When you get to the end, what I want to be is I want to be that guy that looks around and goes, damn, that was one hell of a ride. Right? And I don't want to look back and go, I regret, or I should have done, or I could have done, or I should have helped this person, or I should have thought about this problem differently. And age has helped mellow me a little bit as we go, because you look at things differently.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's all about how you think about things, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The older, the wiser, right,
yeah,
Anthony?
Sure.
You
Absolutely.
know, I love when you're talking about these things, and I just love that Anthony, because he's part of the Navy, he understands you. Like
everything. I'm in awe. I'm just listening. I love it.
So tell me, your Legion Merit. I mean, I'm going to tell you here, and I had to write this down. It's one of the only 2 U.S. military decorations that can be awarded to both U.S. and foreign military personnel. You got 3 of those.
Yeah, I've been around and done.
What the heck? And then you get the 2. Meritorious medals. On top of that, like, that's crazy. So it shows here, because of your leadership, that's how you get there.
So for me, leading was all about trying to help people grow beyond their current mental state, right? Gets into how you think. And so, I've known commanding officers who had philosophies that were like 3 pages long and they weren't worth the paper they were written on, right? Mm-hmm. My command philosophy, and they teach you in school when you go to command school and all that your command philosophy is supposed to be short, right? Memorable, points you can hit, and things that you can remind people of all the time. But my command philosophy actually came to me, and it's more about my life philosophy than anything else. And I was struggling because there's a day when you are in command school and you get to fly to Great Lakes and you get to see the sailors that you're going to lead, right? Not that you haven't seen sailors in the fleet, right? But these sailors are at the beginning of their careers, right? Fresh. They're the most impressionable that they're ever going to be. Mm-hmm. They're the most motivated because they're excited to be part of this team.
Yeah.
And so you start learning, well, how am I going to lead these folks, right? How am I going to influence things? Because I can't do everything myself as a CO. I can't. So I'm in the airport in Rhode Island, getting ready to fly to Chicago. I'm talking to my wife, right? My challenging other. And she goes, hey, just tell them what you always tell us. And I was like, ding, ding, ding. So on my phone between Rhode Island and Chicago, I wrote my command philosophy. My command philosophy revolves around 4 key principles, right? People, choices, luck, and teamwork, right? You have to remember it's a people game. Everything you do in life is a people game. And so if you're not taking care of people, you're not helping people, you're not approaching people the right way, then you're not playing the game to win.
So true.
Because you're isolating people who are not only going to help you, but you could help.
Absolutely.
And you never know when your words are going to be that thing that help somebody else.
Absolutely. Impact.
Right? And so it's a people game always. And if you take care of your people the right way, the mission always falls into place. Choices, my boys can tell you, they have repeated it about a bazillion times, right? And every sailor that's ever served with me can tell you as well. Life is a series of choices. You just have to be willing to accept the consequences. So choose wisely.
Absolutely.
Man.
Right? Luck is my quirky one because I don't really believe in luck. I believe luck is when preparation meets opportunity, right? And you never know when opportunity is going to come, like we were talking about before. So if you prepare yourself a little bit more every day, when the opportunity arrives, you're ready to go, and life is good. You create your own luck, and you create your own destiny, right? You don't have to rely on anybody else to do it.
I like that.
But none of us do this game by ourselves, right? It's a team effort, no matter how you cut it.
Yeah.
And whether it's your family, whether it's your shipmates, whether it's your friends, it doesn't matter. It's a team sport, right? And if you all play together, then everybody's going to win. But if you try to play it all by yourself and be a ball hog, then guess what?
I learned that.
You're going to not be so successful, right? And so that's kind of how I approached it. And I approached that. And so those medals are a result of the fact that I had great teams that executed in ways that nobody ever thought possible. And so all of those belong to them.
Oh my God.
Those aren't me.
I love that.
That's all the people that helped me succeed in my job at the time, because they did above and beyond work. Right?
I love that. I always like to surround myself by humble people, and so it is a rare thing, just so you know, and it's extremely impressive. I mean, just Google it, audience. Like, you guys will see. It's rare.
For sure.
Somebody just to be like this and we're chatting, it's like, bro, you're just a normal person. I feel like, oh my God, hallelujah. Like, who is this guy? I'm like, this is who I'm around.
Right.
But one thing we teach our kids is tell me who you hang out with so I can tell you who you are.
Yep.
Right. And so I just appreciate I have people, leaders like yourself, soon to retire here, Anthony. Thank you for your service too. Great leader, great husband, great father, great businessman. I can see him always giving back to the community, and so I'm always just privileged to be around that and to learn from great people like yourselves.
Thank you.
It's phenomenal.
But man, don't sell yourself short.
I am not, my man. I got a lot to compete.
You are definitely part of this cohort, right?
Yes.
Yep. You may not be military, but you got it as well.
You got it.
So come on, Anthony, hand them some good questions. I know you've been they've been brewing.
So all right. Look. So as a chief, Gene, I go through day to day. I'm managing the sailors, make sure they're good to go, their families are good to go. I could, and I've led a division of 60, led a division of 80 as a first class, but as a commanding officer of a command. First question, what made you want to go command? How that process went, and then second, you led those divisions that you talked about, and you worked your way up into command. So, like, how do you lead that many people?
So, I'll answer one of those questions first. I got lucky with command because I had shifted communities, and I was being told, "Hey, next year you'll actually get your first look at 05 command," and I was like, all right. So I was just doing my job, right? I go, the board happens. I don't pay any attention to it. Right. And I'm in there briefing the boss and giving him stuff. And I come back, and like one of my friends had left a voicemail on my phone. And so I pick up and I get my voicemail, and she goes, "Congratulations, Gene." And that's all she said. And I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? Right? Because I had totally forgot about it.
Right.
And so I'm like, And it takes me like 2 or 3 minutes to and then I'm like, no way. Right? So I pull up the results, and I'm fortunate enough to be one of 3 out of 41 that were up for selection.
Wow.
And so I was like, Now we had just moved back down to Norfolk. And so my wife was in a house that she liked.
Oh, no.
We still had cardboard boxes in the garage.
I know that story.
We were 4 months into the tour when that happened.
Right.
And so I had to like call home and go, I have some good news and some not so good news, right? She goes, okay, well, what's the good news? And I'm like, I selected for command. But our detailer then was so proactive, right? She had the positions that were open to be filled that year.
Right.
And so literally within 5 minutes of the board results coming out, we had an email in our box that said, hey, order these.
Oh, no.
And it was one in Dam Neck, right? So right there in Norfolk. And I was like, okay, that's number one because I don't really want to move again.
Yeah.
And she don't really want to move again. So, so I put that as number one, the two in San Diego, and then there was one in Colorado. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to go do it, right? Of course, everybody's flooding into my office, and they're like, oh, congratulations, you got command.
Meanwhile, you're thinking about this.
Everybody's, and I'm like, I'm going to tell my wife still.
Right.
You're going to help me move. You're going to help me too. You're going to get...
So, you know, when I called her, my wife actually cried, and not a happy tear, right? She's like, we just got here. I like the house. I was like, she didn't know what to do. But my boss at the time was like, hey, where they say you're going? Sir, I got NCTS San Diego, right? The Navy Computer and Telecommunications Station here. I had never been to San Diego.
Oh, wow.
Never done a West Coast tour. Had never. I was an East Coast guy. I was going to stay East Coast.
Blessing disguise.
Right? And my boss at the time, who's still a good friend of mine today, right? Kevin Scott goes, Gene, you're going to love it. You're going to love command. You're going to do great, blah, 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 right? So I'm like, okay. So I come out here and I take command of a team that owns every communication thing from here, from the west of the Mississippi here. Oh, wow. They own a lot of the nuclear command and control communications equipment, and we have stuff all over the country.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay. And the command at that time was about 500.
Whoa.
And so you're like, how am I going to do this? And so what I found were a couple key things. I like to talk to people. And so, like my folks who were remote, I talked to them regularly.
Nice.
Right? I included them in on VTCs and different command type events like award ceremonies and things like that.
Nice.
So that they could be all connected. And I kept reinforcing, I always reinforce my philosophy whenever I'm in command. But I kept everybody connected. And then I was smart about listening, right? I equate it to, you know, I had an opportunity a few years ago when Steve Jobs was at Apple, still to go up and get a tour of the Apple headquarters and talk to some of the executives. And they said, you know, working for Steve was hard because Steve said no a lot, right? And so I learned that saying no wasn't bad, but no doesn't mean no forever, right? And that's what I had to teach people is that my experience, it may just not be mature enough yet, right? So whether it's a technology or a process or something like that, it just may not be mature enough yet. So my no today doesn't mean no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
But my secret weapon in all my command tours, believe it or not, was my wife. And so my wife, when I went to command, you got us. You didn't get just me. My wife was intimately involved, and she would come in and she would do dishes at a potluck, or she would do, you know, discussions or planning for a Christmas party and stuff like that. And my wife is a big personality, but she's easy to talk to.
Yeah.
And so there were lots of opportunities for our sailors to engage her, kind of find out about the old man.
Right. They were digging.
And when they did that kind of stuff, what would happen was, and my wife's very blunt about some things too, right? So she'd be like, do you really need help with that?
Yeah.
Or are you being a snowflake? Right. But she would talk people through the process, and she'd go, look, and she'd always gave him the keys to the kingdom. She's like, look, he's a smart dude. if you take something in there, have a solution, right? Because otherwise, if you don't bring him a solution, he's going to tell you a solution, and you might not like that solution.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so what we did is we created this sense of ownership, right? So all of our sailors felt like they owned the command every bit as much as I own the command as a commanding officer. And it was not me versus them or them versus me or he's one of, them dudes. And so that became important. So the ownership was one piece, the communication was one piece, and then understanding what the mission meant, right? You can tell people what a mission means and go, we're going to go do this. Okay.
Yeah.
We all get trained to go, oh, sure, keep on going, right? But when people understood the intrinsic need and the meaning of what you were doing, it changes the ball game.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It changes the ball game. And so you got us. You had a venting post with her. You were able to bring me solutions. I was able to give ownership of those solutions back to people. And so we created this really great cycle, right? And there were plenty of times I was like, yeah, no.
Right.
Right? And that was based on my experience and things like that. But I always listen to people out, and I still listen to people, because sometimes what you get is you get those introverts who are reluctant to say anything. They have a great idea or they have a great solution, and if you don't listen quietly, then you miss it.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're only going to tell you once.
Right.
So you better be listening. And I have gotten more great ideas from some young kids who only had 3 or 4 years in the Navy and who saw a process or who saw something that was broke and they wanted to fix it, but they didn't feel empowered to fix it. And so empowering people has always been kind of a lifelong thing for me. And so whenever I get the opportunity, I empower them and keep them rolling.
Yeah, you just took the word out of my mouth right now. I was thinking just empowering, taking that ownership, communicating, listening. We're not used to being a soundboard for people. We're just used to, they talking and we're so used to interrupting people. Yeah. But when you start listening to people and acknowledging that they can come up with new ideas, you give them this empowerment where they want to feel they can collaborate with one another. So now I understand why you're giving your awards away. Now I get it. It is everybody else.
Yes.
What's so great about you is you just you found the formula, you found the secret, and that's just really cool thing. How do you give ownership to people? Well, you listen, you pay attention, and maybe it's a no right now, but later, that no now can be applied. That's pretty freaking awesome, man. Yeah. And so one of the things that takes me here to is I did go to Facebook. I was just trying to go in there and just see what a celebrity really looks like, how they think. And I love how positive you are, and again, I'm going to go back to the beginning, your upbringing. You're a poor guy, and we don't know how to self-improve ourselves because those are things that we weren't taught. We're taught like, hey, you just got to listen and be respectful. And that's how you go by your day. So I was looking at one, and one of the ones that really impacted me was manifestation is real. Start speaking positively into your life. How powerful is that?
Oh, it's right? Powerful. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, those are things that I learned in my 40s now. I wasn't paying attention because I wasn't surrounded by the right people. Therefore, I didn't pay attention until like further down my life, and now I'm trying to get my kids to, hey guys, when you guys are walking out of that driveway, just look at ways how you can improve yourself.
Well, just think about how you like to be talked to, right? If somebody talks to you in a positive way, you generally have a positive response to it, right? So why should you talk to yourself any different?
Wow.
Right? Why should you, what you accept for yourself is what others will accept as your standard.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
And so for me, right? I believe in me. I know what I can do.
I like that.
Right? So giddy up, game on, let's roll.
Right.
And you will hear this from me all the time. You'll ask me, hey, Gene, how you doing? Man, it's all good.
That's all you say.
Good. It's all good.
Absolutely.
Right? Because I'm going home and I'm sleeping in my bed with my wife. Ain't nobody taking away my birthday, and my paycheck's still coming in. So everything else, it's all good.
Positive perspective.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you talk to yourself that way, then you expect and accept that that's a standard, right? And it helps you look forward to the next thing. It helps you overcome the challenges.
Yeah.
Right? And don't get me wrong, I'm positive as hell right now, but there are days I struggle with it.
Right.
So,
Oh, I didn't think you were human. I'm sorry.
I do
You know, I didn't
struggle with
think,
it.
Right.
but you know, those are things. We're human, right?
Yeah.
It's just that you acknowledge that. And by the way, I want to give a big shout out to Dita. Dita, she's amazing.
She
I
is.
tell
Shout
you,
out to Dita.
and I don't know that about the blood. She's just very transparent when she speaks, right? It's like this is what you get.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about if there's anything else said. Like, no, she already told you.
Yeah. No, she is. You know how you go through life and some people are phony about things. She is not phony at all.
No.
And she is my grounding strap, and she is my creative muse.
Yes.
And so, you know, sometimes I can be narrow-minded and focused, and she helps me think differently, and always has. And has always inspired me with her creativity and how much she cares about everybody.
Yeah.
And so it keeps me from being a hard ass, and it keeps me focused on things that are right.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes we get into it, right, because we have disagreements, but she always, always, always has my back.
I
Right?
love that.
110%.
Wow. Well, so I love all that. I mean, you've hit on some points that I've come to appreciate, show empathy, not sympathy, learn that in recruiting. And it's helped me throughout my career, just empowering your sailors. And as a chief, we always want them to show ownership for the equipment, for the ship, for their fellow sailors. And, you did all that over the course of your career, that long, beautiful career. And then you had to transition. Tell us how that transition was from active service.
Yeah. There's civilian world. Is a civilian world really what they say it's about?
So it's uncomfortable.
Yes. I'm blowing through it.
And I'm gonna say it. And as men, we kind of shy away from it. And I tell everybody that I help with transitions, I ask them, "Are you scared?" Right?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Well, I'm not." Bullshit.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are all scared,
I'm scared.
when we do it.
Yeah.
And it's not that you're scared because you're weak. It's scared because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And for me, I was in that same boat. And when I transitioned, I was lucky because I had 134 days of leave on the books because of COVID and everything. So I had some time to decompress. And what I will tell everybody is, first, strip away every title and everything that job that you ever had, right? That is not who you are. 2, figure out your priorities, not anybody else's, yours, right? And when I did those 2 things, I knew that I wanted to be there. My boys were going through their senior year of high school. I wanted to be there for that. I wanted a better work-life balance. I wanted to still lead people. And I wanted to still give back to the Navy.
Those were your priorities.
Those were my priorities, right? So I'm like, okay. And I had, when it all came down, I had 3 offers on the table. And the one that I took was the one that gave me those kind of things.
Love it.
And so everybody gets scared, right? The chances are you will have a job. It may not be your last job. It may not be your dream job, but you will have a job. So the bills are going to get paid, right? Which was my big concern, right? Rent still due. Food still, I got mouths to feed.
Yep.
On the flip side, it's also an opportunity that it's more than you can ever dream. If you use the skills that you learned while you were in the Navy and you continue to drive with that kind of excellence, then you will succeed, hands down, period.
I have to agree.
And so, is it scary? Absolutely. Are there people out here to help you? 100%, right? And there are thousands of us that are out here and just ready to help.
Nice.
And so I will tell you, that was scary. I found a job. A year and a half later, I found a different job, and it was leading a different way. And it also helped me understand that I could do things differently and where I enjoyed doing things. And so, I went from running a business as part of a company to being the technical director for the Navy business for Mantech. And so I'm basically the CTO for the Navy business line. And I love it, right? I work with a fabulous team. They're super smart. My boss is a great leader, right? He injects ownership and all the principles that I think are key. And he's mission focused. The company's mission focused. So
that's awesome.
I'm like, win-win,
Right.
score,
Win-win.
right?
Right.
And so you're going to get there. Follow your passions now. We've done 20, 30 years of God and country, right? This life is only so short. Follow your passions. Do what energizes you, right? And if you do what energizes you, then life is good, right?
Yeah.
If you don't do what energizes you, it will feel like a time suck all the time.
Right.
So do what energizes you. Do what makes you happy.
You know what's crazy about it? You just make it seem, again, this guy's too humble.
Right.
He's getting out, and we're in escrow on a property. And then I'm like, Gene, we're going to need you to sign some disclosures. I'm in Hawaii. Who buys a house and is traveling to Hawaii? And then, not only that, because we're in the industry, Anthony, I'm like, how do I bother him when he's got a freaking Mai Tai margarita? I don't know what you have over there with the beautiful flower. Like, I don't want to mess that up, but here he is. It's like the challenge wasn't a challenge. I'm trying to get him the biggest debt of his life, and he just doesn't care about it.
So that was funny because I was actually traveling. So you may not know this, right? But he does. So my house was one of the fastest closings that I've ever seen in my career. It was 17 days from offer to close.
Gotcha.
And so during those 2 weeks, right, we went and looked at the house, called the realtor, who's a friend of ours, Herb.
Herb Knox.
Right?
Yeah.
And so
everybody knows Herb.
Herb was like, all right. And he got us in there. And then we went home, talked about it. And the next day, my wife's like, you got to get me back in that house. So I call Herb. And he's like, yo, brother, you got to be there tonight. Cool. So we go over there. And we are walking through this house for the second time in 2 days. And it's got everything that we were looking for, every single thing. And I'm like, okay. We go home. It starts on Wednesday. Thursday, we look at it the second time. Friday, Herb calls us and he goes, hey, I know Dita. He goes, put me on speaker. I was like, cool. So my wife has 8 Christmas trees, right? Uh-oh. And he goes, Dita, can you see all your Christmas trees in that house? And she was like, yes. He goes, can you see your grandkids in that house? And she said, yes. He goes, yo, man, you love her? I said,
that's her.
Yeah. I said, yeah, I do. He goes, all right, looks like we're buying a house. So he put in the offer. Will did all of the paperwork for the brokerage. I was going to Tampa the next week for 2 weeks. I was on the road. I get to Tampa. Herb calls me and he's like, yo, man, they accepted your offer. You need to transfer money into escrow. And I had been banking money for the house. So I was like, I go to Navy Federal, transfer money into escrow, go to all my meetings, come back, get the house inspected over the weekend, go to Hawaii. Will calls me. It's like Wednesday.
Yeah.
And he calls me up and he's like, yo, where you at? And I'm like,
that's Will.
I'm like, man, I'm in Hawaii. What's wrong? Because I'm thinking, right, he needs something like now.
Right.
He's like, man, you got to get back. We bought a house. I got your closing documents. We're closing next Wednesday.
Yeah.
I was like,
What?
And you know how God sends you little signals?
Yes.
So we have a garage fridge, right? And my buddy Rob was helping me move it. And the refrigerator fitting in the garage, we went, and you know how when you put something in, it fits real well, and you get that whoosh,
Right.
that comes back out?
Yes, I do.
That's what we got.
Oh, man.
Right?
Perfect.
I was telling Will, it's hard to believe now we've been in that house almost 3 years.
Yeah.
That's
and we
crazy.
still love everything about it.
So that refrigerator did it.
It was
Now we know what to buy. Like we got to pay attention to this.
I mean, it was that thing, right?
Yeah.
That just kind of gave you the
Like this is
this is supposed to it's supposed to be.
It's a sign,
Right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be.
You know what's crazy is we've been in the industry quite a while, and it's just for me, I can't imagine that you guys have this fear when you're transitioning out and stuff, because I see you guys like freaking, you guys are rock stars. Like, how the hell? Our life is complicated over here in the civilian world. You know what I mean? Like, you guys don't realize, and with all your knowledge and expertise and all the training that you guys have done, like, I'm one of the people that put you guys in this pedestals. Once for thank you for your service, you guys. That's phenomenal what you guys do. The sacrifices, especially the families. You know, Dita, the twins. Like, thank you guys for supporting your dad. You know, I know everything you're doing is for them. You know, and everything that we talked about today, it didn't come what you're doing for others. Is you do it because of your kindness and the person that you just are. So I really, truly appreciate that. And I really think, I wish we had more time.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Really. And I know you got to get to a haircut and stuff, but listen, Captain, sir.
I'm happy to come back anytime you want.
And we're going to get you back
awesome.
here.
This is awesome.
You know, I just can't tell you how grateful I am to have people in my life that I can call you a brother.
That's right.
You know, that I call you every time and you take my call, and I'm always going to call you with excitement because that's what you reciprocate back. You know, you give it back to me.
Super positive.
You know, and you do the same thing. So I don't know, you're on crack too, whatever. You know, little did we realize that we grew up in the same part of LA, but mine was way worse. When I told Pacoima, he's like, whoa, bro, that's like that. You know, Crankshaw. Yeah. Like, he looked at me like that, Gene, and I look at him like, bro, what are you talking about? Crankshaw? It's in the movies, you know? Right. You're in the movies, Pacoima isn't. But, you know, Gene, is there any questions that you feel that we should have answered that we didn't?
No, I think you guys have covered it. And I think we had a great conversation, right? About, you know, what gets you, you know, people tell you all the time, right? What got you here doesn't get you there.
Right.
Right. But it's a consistency, right? Mm-hmm. It's a perpetual positivity that keeps you moving in the right direction. And if you let life drag you down, right? Kind of like the Rocky movie, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody hits harder than life.
Oh, right? I love that.
So if you don't get back up and you don't keep rolling, then it will keep you down.
Dang.
So, I know.
So
holy snap.
I had a few of those today.
Dang, man.
Yeah.
Well, man, I tell you what, freaking love you guys. I appreciate you so much. Anthony, I know you came in short notice, but I'm telling you, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. And Captain, sir, I love you and I appreciate you after 30 years. Can't thank you enough. But hey, everyone, that's it for all the fun here with Friends of Mortgage Heroes. We're certainly going to bring them back. Please give us a few thumbs up or ask any questions. Once we post this, let us know what you guys think of all this, you know? And I know there's a lot of things that we can relate to, but please, just let us know what you guys think. And, you know, pass it on to other friends, family members that you think this information may resonate, okay? We'll see you guys soon. Again, thank you guys. Love you, appreciate you, and see you for now.
See you for now.
Have a good one.